27 interesting and helpful facts about Basilicata in Italy. The Italian region of Basilicata. Basilicata is Italy's footarch, separating the heel and the toe. It's unique, inasmuch as it has two different coastlines on two different seas, with the Ionian Sea to the south, being the Gulf of Taranto, and to the west, the Tyrrhenian Sea. So, what's the appeal of Basilicata? It's a very unspoilt region of Italy. And this is what makes it attractive, especially to business owners who are digital nomads. People who can operate a business from the comfort of their laptop. So, if you long for la dolce vita, then check out Basilicata and take a serious look. To learn more about this quiet region, watch this video, where you'll discover 27 interesting and helpful facts about Basilicata in Italy, as follows. Number 1. Geography. Basilicata is in southern Italy, bordering Calabria, Campania, and Puglia, while it enjoys the coastlines of the Tyrrhenian and Ionian Seas. The region is very mountainous, being at the southern end of the Apennine mountain range, and as a consequence, Basilicata is one of the least developed areas of Italy. The highest mountain peak is Monte Pollino at just over 2,200 meters, about 7,300 feet. The area also includes a dormant volcano, Monte Vul-tu-re. In total, the region covers an area of about 10,000 square kilometers, that's 3,900 square miles. Number 2. National Parks. The Pollino National Park is the largest national park in Italy, spreading into neighbouring Calabria. Amongst its forests, you can find trees such as the common beech tree and the rare Bosnian pine tree, being the oldest tree in Europe, reckoned to be over 1,200 years old. Number 3. Oil and natural gas. Val d'Agri in Basilicata is known as the Texas of Italy, as there are nearly 30 oil wells in production, helping to make Italy the third largest oil producer in Europe. Natural gas reserves have also been found near Matera. Number 4. A brief history of Basilicata. Basilicata was known as Lucania, with the region being under Lombard rule in the early Middle Ages. It was controlled by the Dukes of Benevento and then by the Princes of Salerno. After a period of Byzantine control, the Normans took over in 1059, and made Melfi the capital of one of their dominions. There then followed various rulers from Germany and Spain. In 1663, the province of Basilicata was founded, with the town of Matera as its capital. And then, in 1735, Basilicata became part of the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, before it was unified in 1860 with the Kingdom of Italy. The Potenza and Matera provinces came into being in 1927. When World War II began in 1939, and as a consequence of Italy joining forces with Nazi Germany, the Allies, notably the British and Americans, bombed southern Italy. Especially the Potenza province, that resulted in a substantial loss of civilian life owing to the large numbers of refugees that had taken asylum in the region. Number 5. The economy. Whereas Basilicata used to be one of the poorest regions in Italy, owing to the discovery and production of oil and natural gas, its economy overall has now improved. Despite being one of the more economically depressed regions in southern Italy for many years, the establishment of a large Fiat plant, as well as the Sassi di Matera being designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, have also helped boost Basilicata's economy. However, agriculture is still the main part of its economy, although yields are low because of the poor soil and the region's rough terrain. Crops grown include wheat, rye, grapes and olives, while beef and dairy cattle, goats, pigs, and sheep are raised. In the eastern and coastal areas, new crops are being introduced such as tobacco and vegetables. One factor that may be holding back the region's capability to boost its economy further is that the region suffered from a devastating earthquake in 1980. Number 6. The Provinces of Basilicata. Basilicata has just two provinces, being Matera and Potenza. Number 7. The population. The population of Basilicata is about 600,000. Because Basilicata was known as Lucania, people from the region are referred to as Lucani. Emigration has always been a problem for the region owing to the economic downfall in Basilicata during and after the Italian unification. Poverty, sickness, and war were the main causes of emigration. Since the end of World War II, the population of Basilicata has slowly improved by way of returning emigrants repatriating to the area, and immigrants who have moved to the area attracted to the recently improved economy, especially the oil production. Number 8. The capital city of Basilicata. Potenza is the capital city of Basilicata, located in the northwestern area of the region. Number 9. The language. Italian is the dominant language of the region. During its time as Lucania, the main language spoken was a dialect of the Latin language called Oscan Italian, which has now evolved into modern-day Latin, with dialects of Gallo-Italic and Romance. Number 10. Basilicata's name and its people. Basilicata is the name for the region, in both Italian and English. Its name is of Greek origin, named after a Byzantine emperor. Ethnicities in the region are a mixture of Greek, Latin, and Roman. Number 11. Mountain ranges. Basilicata is the most mountainous of the southern Italian regions, hosting the southern part of the Apennine mountain range. Its other main mountain range is the Lucanian Dolomites, which is made up of deep valleys, steep ridges and strange rock formations. It's home to the region's highest village, Pietrapetusa, which sits below a 10th century Saracen fortress. There's also an experience not to be missed. Flight of the Angel, a breathtaking zip-wire ride between Pietrapetusa and the neighbouring village of Castelmassano. Number 12. The climate. Along its coasts, Basilicata has a Mediterranean climate. Whereas inland it has more of a northern European type climate. Albeit with generally higher temperatures, with snow on the mountains during winter. Number 13. The Tyrrhenian and Ionian coastline. Basilicata forms the instep of the Italian boot, connecting the toe of Calabria, and the heel of Puglia with a coastline along the Tyrrhenian and Ionian seas. The Tyrrhenian coastline of about 32 kilometers is very rocky, while the Ionian coastline of about 35 kilometers has sandy beaches. Number 14. Airports. There is no airport in Basilicata. Access by air is to Bari in the Puglia region or to Naples further to the north, which is about a 3-hour drive away. To make up for that, train links are quite good, and its road network has been improved. If you're wanting to visit, work and live in Italy, quickly check out the ongoing collection of news, reports, resources and courses on this channel that'll make your introduction to expat life in Italy and La Dolce Vita even sweeter. It's so easy. Just click on the subscribe button below, and then click the grey bell icon to ensure you don't miss out on future videos being uploaded. Plus, watch this video to the very end where you'll get access to a special report packed full of helpful ideas for when you visit or consider living in Italy. And now for 13 more interesting, helpful and fun facts about Basilicata. Number 15. UNESCO Heritage Sites. There is only one UNESCO World Heritage Site in Basilicata, being the Sassi di Matera. This is a collection of cave houses dug out of rocky hills that are over 9,000 years old. The area was used as the backdrop for the 2004 film, The Passion of the Christ. Number 16. Little Pompeii. The archaeological park in Grumentum is known as the Little Pompeii of Basilicata. It's the ancient ruins of the walled city situated on a hill between two rivers. There are remains of an amphitheatre, a forum, mosaics, Roman baths and temples. Number 17. The Count of Matera. As well as Matera being the region's only UNESCO World Heritage Site, the region also got to be known in the 16th century by the antics of Count Tramontano, an Italian nobleman who was the Count of Matera. He abused his power by demanding taxes to live a life of luxury, and so was despised by the residents of Matera. He met an untimely end when he was beaten to death as he left church. The church bells rang continuously as the people of Matera celebrated his demise. As a consequence, the Count left behind the unfinished Tramontano Castle, which is the only structure of great significance in Matera, other than the Sassi. Number 18. The oldest town in the world. Matera is also one of the oldest towns in the world, dating back to the 3rd century BC. Situated in the northeast of Basilicata, it was the capital until 1806. Within the town are the Sassi, a system of ancient caves, churches and streets reckoned to be one of the earliest settlements in Italy. Up until recently, the Sassi was still inhabited, although the people had to be relocated for health and sanitation reasons. Since then, Sassi di Matera has been rejuvenated, being the home of many businesses as well as being used for film locations and as a tourist attraction. Number 19. The Legend of the Mona Lisa's Death. Leonardo da Vinci's model for the Mona Lisa painting, Lisa Gherardini, met her untimely death in the town of Aglianico in Basilicata. The story goes that she and her husband were traveling to Calabria to buy sheepskins when she was struck down with a fever. Her husband left her in Aglianico to recover while he conducted business in Calabria, but she died before he got back to her. Number 20. Carmine Croc-co, a local folk hero. Carmine Croc-co is a well-known character in the region, from the town of Rio-nero, and is best described as being a Robin Hood type of villain. Each year there is an annual production of a play in his memory called La Storia Bondita. In 2008, a bar called the Tavern of Croc-co was opened in his name. Number 21. Places to see. 1. The villages. The Association of Beautiful Villages of Italy recognizes 7 such villages are in Basilicata. One of them is the village of Pietrapetusa, which has the highest and longest zip wire line in the world. 2. Melfi's Castle. Melfi is a charming town in the province of Potenza, at the foot of Monte Vul-tu-re. Its main tourist site is a 13th century Norman castle. 3. The Angels Grotto Cave Adventures. The Angels Grotto is a number of underground caverns and a must-see destination. Guided boat tours take visitors through the cave system that have illuminated water paths to admire the stunning stalactites and stalagmites and many other natural rock formations. 4. The Flight of the Angel. This is the zip wire run between the villages of Pietrapetusa and Castelmezzano, high up in the Lucan Dolomites. Being 1,000 meters high, where black storks and birds of prey live, you zip from one village to the other along a 1.5 kilometer course, achieving speeds of up to 120 kilometers per hour. Number 22. The ghost towns of Croc-co and Campo-maggioré. Croc-co is a town located on a steep cliff overlooking the Cavon River Valley. Emigration and natural disasters, including an earthquake in 1980, led the last remaining inhabitants to abandon the town completely. Campo-maggioré is another ghost town that was destroyed by an avalanche and abandoned in 1885. Number 23. People, music and the arts. Well-known people born in, or with a family connection to Basilicata, include 1. Francis Ford Coppola has family ties in Bernalda. The medieval hilltop town of Bernalda is where Francis Ford Coppola's grandfather Agostino lived, before he emigrated to America. The famous film director went back to his roots in Bernalda and opened a boutique hotel called Palazzo Margherita, where his daughter Sofia was married, in 2011. His famous film, The Godfather, included the names of certain towns in Basilicata. 2. Actor Cosimo Fusco, who once played the boyfriend of Jennifer Aniston's character Rachel in Friends, is from Matera. Number 24. Major events. The biggest event is the Marriages of the Trees Pagan Festival. This is a 4-day pagan festival that takes place every May in the province of Matera. 2 trees, one long, being an oak tree, and one short, being a holly tree, are cut from the local forest and are then carried down to the village where they're joined in a symbolic matrimonial ceremony. The long trunk represents the groom. It's carried to town by oxen that are bred for the occasion. The short trunk represents the blushing bride. The ancient ritual is undertaken to ensure fertile soil and a good harvest. Number 25. The food. The food of Basilicata is hearty and rich. Popular regional dishes include the following. 1. Peppers, grown and harvested from the province of Potenza, are sweet and crunchy, and are dried and made into powder, which locals put into cheeses, meats, and soups. 2. Lucanica di Picciano sausages are mixed with fennel seeds, and are made from an ancient recipe dating back to Roman times. 3. The Matera bread is part of the staple diet in the region, and is known for its strong flavor and cone-like shape. 4. 4. The rotunda red eggplant is sweet and tasty, and is a regular ingredient used in many local dishes. 5. Popular dishes of the region include ciabatta and scarcella. Number 26. The wine. Aglianico del Vul-tu-re and Melfi is reckoned to be one of the best red wines in the world. Even the Italian Post Office released a stamp dedicated to it. 80% of the wines from Basilicata are red. White wines are produced from the Malvasia grape. Winemaking has become an important source of revenue for Basilicata's economy, and events and festivals are held every year in recognition of its importance to the region. The Aglianico Wine Festival is celebrated in and around the Vul-tu-re and Melfi castles, usually on the last weekend of October. Number 27. Regional liqueur, the Amaro Lucano. The best-known liqueur of the region is Amaro Lucano, produced by a family-owned company in Pisticci. It's a herbal liqueur, made up of more than 30 different herbs from around the world. The recipe, first created in 1894, has since been passed down from generation to generation. The word Lucano comes from Lucania, the ancient name for Basilicata. So, there you have it, 27 interesting and helpful facts about the Basilicata region in Italy that I hope you found to be of help and of interest. If you're serious about visiting, or working and living in Basilicata, I highly recommend that you download and read your special guide, entitled, You Can Start a Brand New Life in Italy. Just click on the URL link in the description box below this video. Kindly leave a positive comment in the comments section below. And then, please share with friends. And enjoy. And don't forget to subscribe, and then click the grey bell icon to join an exclusive club of subscribers to be notified of all future videos being uploaded. Until next time, ciao for now.